SKANJA News is back to meet you with me, Aulia Sandi, with the most recent, sharp, and reliable news. Immediately, we got to the first news in Slogo Mosap district to implore an appeal from the governor of Central Java to implement PSBB or PPKM. This appeal was made to reduce the spread of the COVID-19 virus, which made a number of areas deserted.
Januari 11, 2021, Slogo Mosap District also applies the Java Bali PSBB 11 to 25, or also known as PPKM. PPKM is an appeal from the Governor of Central Java, Mr. Ganjar Pranowo, to reduce the spread of COVID-19 by limiting office workplace by means of work from home. Yes, working at home with 50% or rotation and 50% working in the office. It was observed that today the Slogoimo Purwantoro Highway still look quiet. Only a few vehicles passing this route. It can also be seen that the Slogoimo market is empty of buyers because of the implementation of PSBB. Will the buyers in Slogoimo market still wear masks and keep their distance?
Sistem penerapannya
tetap seperti anjuran dari pemerintah ataupun dari gubernur maupun dari untuk Pemda Wonogiri, baik Pak Bupati maupun untuk kecamatan, tetap untuk pelaksanaannya tetap kita mengutamakan 3M. Satu itu, kedua untuk tidak diadakannya keramaian. Jadi dilarang adanya keramaian seperti yang sifatnya mengundang massa ataupun kerumunan orang. Itu yang kedua. Kemudian yang ketiga, untuk pelaksanaannya juga tetap untuk pelayanan baik itu maupun untuk orang pedagang itu juga dibatasi dari PPKM ini, dengan aturan PPKM ini. Jadi untuk setiap yang melakukan jual beli itu dibatasi sampai untuk jual makanan sampai jam 19 malam. Itu pun juga nanti tetap diadakan 3M juga, terutama untuk fase 1 harus menyiapkan untuk cuci tangan, sabun untuk sterilisasi tangannya itu tetap. Kemudian sampai sekarang pun juga pihak Polsek dan Kecamatan Slogoimo, Polsek Slogoimo dan Koramil Slogoimo tetap melaksanakan operasi justisi, yang mana justisi itu kan menindak untuk masyarakat yang melakukan pelanggaran, contohnya di aktivitas di pasar tidak menggunakan masker, itu tetap kita lakukan penindakan yang sifatnya teguran dan sanksi-sanksi lain. Dan ada lagi
harapan setelah PPKM dan PSBB ini sudah diterapkan.
Harapannya tetap kita berharap masyarakat mematuhi aturan tadi ya. Masyarakat mematuhi aturan tadi karena apa? Dengan kepatuhan masyarakat, dengan kedisiplinan masyarakat, terus menerapkan tadi yang 3M tadi, menjauhi dari kerumunan juga. Itu kan istilah kita memutus rantai COVID tadi, virus corona ini. Jadi memutus rantai penularannya ya, karena sifatnya ini kan menular dan ini kan sangat cepat sekali gitu loh. Makanya sering diadakan operasi justisi kan tujuannya seperti itu, untuk memutus rantai. Makanya tetap kita utamakan 3M, memakai masker, mencuci tangan, dan menjaga jarak.
PPKM in the Slogoimo sub-district has not stifled the determination of traders to sell. The market is still open, but not as busy as usual.
The condition of the Slogoimo market in Wonogiri Regency is currently still open. Even though the PSBB is ongoing, there are still Slogoimo people selling in the area around the market. Inside are filled with seller or buyer who interact directly. When interacting, there are still a buyer or a seller who have not complied health protocol that have been recommended by the government. But the current market is not as busy as usual. Even though the government has restricted people who want to go to the market in order to reduce the level of crowding, people like him do not have government recommendation. So many arrive without wearing masks, lack of awareness of the public to wear masks, and maintain distance when crowds.
The same thing also happened in Sidoarjo Market, which is still open. But there is still a lack of public awareness by not complying with health protocols.
During the enactment of community activity restriction, or what is commonly called PPKM, this was in effect in the Sidoarjo sub-district, making a positive impact on the people of Sidoarjo and its surroundings. However, as we know, there are still many motorcyclists who are reluctant to wear masks while traveling. It can be seen that the market is still full of visitors who come without wearing masks. They only browse them but they did not use them. From the data obtained, the price of spices and herbs has decreased, such as garlic, chilies, and others. For the price of red chili, the price has decreased to 40,000 1 kilogram from the initial price of 65,000 1 kilogram. Green chili has also experienced the same things from the previous price of 30,000 1 kilogram. Now it has decreased to 20,000 1 kilogram. Red birch eye chili has decreased to 70,000 1 kilogram from initial price of 85,000 1 kilogram. Green bird's eye chilies, which also fell to 25,000 1 kilogram from the initial price of 35,000 1 kilogram. Not only kitchen spices, the price of cut chicken has also fallen to 32,000 1 kilogram from the initial price of 34,000 1 kilogram. However, the increase in price was in fact the sale of soybeans, which rose to 9,500 1 kilogram from the previous price of 7,000 1 kilogram. The decline in the price of spices was due to the presence of PPKM or PSBB in the central region. With the existence of this PPKM, residents are encouraged to stay at home and comply with health protocols. And to respond to this, market traders must close their stall earlier than usual at 1 p.m. The stalls are closed to a maximum of 11 a.m. This is what makes the Sidoarjo market.
PPKM not only limits the market, but also limits tourist attraction, one of which is Tunoleo Nature Reserve.
The tourism object of Tunoleo Nature Reserve, Tech Forest, which has an average length of 10 meters with a diameter of 1 meter, so that is considered the best quality tech ever seen, is located in Watusomo Village, Logoimo Sub-District, 40 km from Wonogiri City, which usually crowded with visitors as well as a hangout place now seems lonely since the enactment of PPKM from January 11 to January 25, 2021. The implementation of PPKM focused on several sectors, namely workplace or office, tourist attraction, teaching and learning activities, restaurant or place to eat, malls or shopping, center and place of worship. This aim to reduce the risk of the spread of the COVID-19 virus, which is currently spreading in Indonesian territory, one of which is in Wonogiri district. The implementation of this PPKM makes the quantity of youth association hanging out a little less. Local residents expect this program can make the community who are aware of health protocols.
The audience, to be exact, starts at the Tanggulangan Cultural Center after following commercial break.
Saya mau tanya, saya kan di rumah juga hobi bunga, dan bunga saya itu saya kasih pot, dan potnya itu berantakan banget. Jadi saya mau cari solusi gimana ya? Pot saya itu bisa rapi gitu.
Oke, ginian aja mas.
Wah, ini bari mas.
Iya,
Beli di mana mas?
di temen gua.
Kualitasnya gimana?
Bagus,
Terjamin nggak?
jamin dong.
Cocoknya dipakai di mana aja ya mas ya?
Mana aja mas, buat rumah, ruang tamu. Ya pokoknya di mana sih mas.
Wah, jadi cocok di mana aja ya?
Iya,
Boleh dipesenin nggak?
boleh.
Coba
Bentar ya.
Ini.
Halo, assalamualaikum. Mas, ini teman gua ada yang mau pesen kak bunga. Bisa buatin kakak ya bang? Oh, ya oke bang. Nanti gua kirim lokasinya. Oke, makasih.
Udah mas?
Udah,
Oh iya, yaudah ya mas. Saya mau pulang dulu, mau rapiin tempat.
iya. Ini bang, ini. Ah iya. Gimana? Tadi juga buat apa? Coba bawa itu.
Ya, di sini kami mempunyai rak bunga spesial. Rak bunga ini mengubah bunga di rumah Anda menjadi lebih rapi lagi. Rak bunga ini cocok ditaruh di mana saja. Dan jangan khawatir untuk besinya, kami menggunakan besi dengan ketebalan 2 mm. Untuk pemesanannya, Anda bisa menghubungi nomor 0856 4242 1849 dan kami siap mengantar sampai tujuan.
Welcome back on SKANJA News. Tourism that is also affected by PPKM is not only in Donoloyo Natural Reserve, but also tourist attraction at the Tanggulangin Cultural Center, which also experienced the same thing.
One of the effective ways that Mr. Hendro has taken in the cultural movement with the residents of Tanggulangin village is to create a village tourism vehicle through the use of alas pakal by organizing educational activities with local village content on a regular basis. The flow down movement carried out by Mr. Hendro is caring for the village structure already exists by cultivating knowledge about mutual cooperation between villagers. This cultural center is usually used by the community to carry out activities such as outbound activities, organizational gatherings, dance training, theater, etc. There are several facilities provided by the cultural center for outbound activities. However, the current condition of the cultural hall is very different from the previous condition, like not maintained, because there are many wild plants overgrown. The cultural hall has become neglected due to the corona outbreak, which has not stopped until now, causing this place to be neglected. The bridge and its facilities are already fragile. Indeed, the corona outbreak has had a huge impact on tourist attraction in the Jatisrono area.
The visit center in Sidoarjo has also experienced few visitors and buyers due to the implementation of PPKM from 11 January to 25 January 2021.
The Sidoarjo Visit Center is the first animal husbandry, fisheries, and marine service office in Wonogiri Agency, which was founded in the year 90 with an area of about 570 meters, which considers in Kayoloka village, Sidoarjo, Wonogiri. From the data obtained in the seed center, there are several types of fish. In the seed center, there are two types of fish, namely seeds and broodstock. the types of fish in the center, namely tilapia, catfish, and carps. The fish here are quite large. The officer at the Sidoarjo village seed center is never too late to feed the fish. The goal of not being late in feeding the fish is to make fish or seed cultivation in the center develop properly. Not only seeds are sold, so that visitor will come to the seed center can not only buy seeds but also buy the broad fish. The buyer were not disappointed with the result of the seeds or fish they bought. In the seed center, there were about 20 pounds containing fish and several pounds that were empty, and there were several pounds that were in the process of being cleaned. The seed center itself always keeps the ponds clean, even though the fence surrounding the seed center is rusty and show that it has been a long time since the seed hall was built. However, all the ponds there still look good and are well maintained. However, because of the PPKM, or what is called enforcement of restriction on community activities, which was enforced from January 11 to January 25, 2021, the visit center in Sidoarjo village was a little quiet, because the Sidoarjo police chief appealed to close all stalls or shops including the seed hall. The owner of the seed center was a little disappointed, but for the common good, in order to reduce the increase in COVID-19 in the Sidoarjo area. The Sidoarjo Visit Center is the
We turn to the next news, viewers. The pile of toys behind the Jatipurno market disrupt the buying and selling activities in the Jatipurno market.
due to the lack of awareness of Jatipurno community to dispose of garbage in its place behind the Jatipurno market, Wonogiri district. There is a mountain of garbage piles that have occurred recently. This pile of rubbish occurs as a result of sellers and buyers littering, even though every corner of the market has an appeal to dispose of garbage in its place. Even though the rubbish has been piling up and scattered where the cleaners have not cleaned the place. There are various kinds of garbage in the pile, namely several kinds of plastic waste left over from selling meat, rotting vegetables, leftover fruits, fish bones, and meat. As a result, the residents of Jatipurno who went to the market were disturbed by the unsightly pile of garbage behind the traditional market, and the smell was very pungent, causing residents to cover their noses when passing into the market. The residents there also do not have the initiative to immediately clean up the garbage, but instead many also throw garbage in the pile. This garbage can cause many diseases because it is surrounded by many animals such as flies, mosquitoes, and others. We hope that there are people or officers who have the awareness to clean up the piles of rubbish behind the market and around the market so that no people get sick from the pile of garbage.
We turn to the next information. The accident occurred in the Tremes area, Sidoarjo sub-district. Fortunately, there were no casualties.
A single accident in Sidoarjo that hit a truck occurred on Friday afternoon, January 10, 2021, in the Tremes area, Sidoarjo, Wonogiri. It is suspected that the main cause of the accident was due to the slippery road due to heavy rain since Friday afternoon, causing the truck's balance to become unstable. The accident resulted in the truck falling into a ravine. Fortunately, the truck was not loaded. There were no casualties, it's just that the truck driver experienced a little trauma. Not only that, the roads around the bridge also fell down with trucks. As a result, part of the road collapsed, and for the time being the bridge was given a bamboo crossbar to anticipate and secure the location. Residents around the scenes also helped evacuate the truck that fell into the ravine. Indeed, the current weather, which often rains heavily, has resulted in many traffic accidents, especially the slippery roads are also a factor in this accident.
We move on to the next news after the following commercial break.
Tim Jahit SMK Negeri 1 Jatiroto. Di sini saya akan memberikan sedikit pemaparan mengenai produk kami. Yang pertama ada konektor masker. Berikut ini pemaparan mengenai konektor masker. Konektor masker merupakan salah satu barang yang sangat berguna di masa pandemi seperti ini, terutama untuk kalangan wanita yang menggunakan hijab. Kami memproduksi konektor masker dengan berbagai macam warna dan model. Yang pertama, menggunakan model pengait. Yang kedua, menggunakan kancing saja. Sedangkan untuk warna, berbagai warna yang sudah kami buat, sesuai dengan pesanan para pelanggan. Ya, itu tadi sedikit pemaparan mengenai konektor masker. Untuk produk yang kedua, kami juga memproduksi sarung bantal dan guling. Berikut ini pemaparan mengenai sarung bantal dan guling. Mengapa kami memproduksi sarung bantal dan guling? Karena untuk sarung bantal dan guling sangat dibutuhkan di kalangan masyarakat. Kami juga menyediakan berbagai macam motif, ukuran, dan model, sesuai dengan pesanan para pelanggan kami. Ya, itu tadi pemaparan produk kami. Perlu diketahui bahwasannya harga produk kami sesuai dengan harga pasar. Namun, kami mempunyai keunggulan dengan menyediakan sistem pengiriman barang dan COD. Untuk cek harga produk kami, bisa hubungi nomor di bawah ini. Untuk yang belum order, kami tunggu ya orderannya. Dan untuk yang sudah order, kami tunggu juga orderan selanjutnya. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for still with us on SKANJA News. The current rainy season has an impact on a number of farms in certain areas. The impact is in the form of an increase in food prices, one of which is chili agriculture.
In Mojopahit Village, Logoimo Subdistrict, the price of red chili peppers has increased. This is due to the current uncertain weather. During the rainy season, a lot of fungi and pests attack the chili plant, so that many chilies are damaged, and this results in decreased quality of the chilies. The price, which was originally around 20 to 40,000, is now around 60,000 1 kilogram. Many residents of Mojopahit Village, Logoimo Subdistrict, have complained about the drastic soaring price of chili. The farmer also could not do anything more because the weather was unpredictable now. Chili in this village is harvested about every 3 months. Chili is also sold to traditional market in the Logoimo area. Sometimes even buyers come directly to the chili farmer house just so they can buy chilies for their daily needs. Indeed, the current weather, which sometimes rain, sometimes get hot, makes some farmers fail to harvest. So this has an impact on the economy of the residents of the Logoimo area. Good weather also affects the quality of these plants. In fact, sometimes the farmers do not receive profit. They only receive a return on investment.
In a season like this is the right time to prepare for the corn harvest. Corn farmers picking from leaves so that the corn will age quickly. This is done by a farmer in the village of Logoimo Subdistrict.
Corn planting in the Logoimo area has now reached the age of almost 3 months, where the development of corn is currently approaching the harvest period. The owner of the corn said that now is the right time to remove the lower leaves. corn is old and ready to be harvested if it was observed from the plantation that the garden owners not only plant corn, but also plant cassava in the sidelines of the corn.
Not only corn, turmeric plants in Pohgede Hamlet, Sidoarjo Sub-District are also preparing to harvest next year.
This turmeric plantation in Pohgede Hamlet, Mojodona Village, Sidoarjo Sub-District, Wonogiri Regency is entering a year of planting, which means that within 1 year farmer in Mojodona Village will harvest the turmeric. Turmeric garden with an area of 1 hectare with the condition of the land being set fertile enough so that the turmeric can develop properly. So that the turmeric produce good quality, farmer usually with the turmeric fill out of. It is not frequent but it is done regularly. Turmeric will be harvested after being planted for 2 years. During the harvest period, usually the turmeric will be dried in the sun before selling it to the market. This is done to improve the quality of the turmeric so that when sent to the factory, turmeric does not rot and can lighten the work of factory employees.
We turn to the next news from Kopen Village, Jatiporno Sub-District, which has the cultivation of various types of plants, one of which is the cacao plant.
The Jatiporno area, which coincides with the Kopen Village, is already familiar with the name of a plant, namely the cacao tree, a tree that Jatiporno residents are familiar with. On air Latin, it is called Theobroma cacao. The cacao tree is a plant suitable for soil culture and climate in Indonesia. Because of this in Wonogiri, Jatiporno Kopen Village is able to become a superior project of community entrepreneurship. The Kopen Village people usually manipulate the garden land by planting plants such as cacao and cengkeh trees. Usually they plant them intercroppingly because they remember the area Kopen soil is not suitable for rice plant. Uniquely, this clove plant can only be planted once a year. Or usually the results can be enjoyed after 1 year. Unlike the cacao tree, if this cacao tree has reached the age of 3 years and over, then it can be picked every day. However, in the process of planting and processing, there are still many obstacles, namely in the knowledge and technology of processing when the results of the plantation are. Therefore, the tractor farming community in the Kopen village still needs a lot to learn and still requires attention from the government in order to increase knowledge of the harvest process and processing in order to keep up with the times and be able to develop.
This news also closed our meeting in the SKANJA News. Me and the crew on Jadi resign. Goodbye.